I'm BM3 Ross Ellis, joined the Coast Guard a year and a half ago. This is a story about a rescue that I was involved in down in Tillamook area about a little over a year ago. Growing up in Oregon, I was no stranger to the cold, wet, endless rain the winter storms of Oregon can throw at us. It feels sometimes as though months go by without feeling the warmth of even a single ray of sunshine on our backs. The winter of 2008 would prove no different for the crew of Station Tillamook Bay. Enlisting in the Coast Guard, I envisioned myself upon the high seas conducting law enforcement and search and rescue. To my surprise, I received orders to a surf station just 5 hours from my hometown. After completing a rigorous qualification process, I earned a certification as a boat crew member as well as a boarding team member. On this particular day, things started out slow, but on the night of November 12, 2008, I would find myself not in the surf, not even in the salt, but rather on a small creek. I would later find out this would be Fawcett Creek. However, at the time it appeared to be deserving the title Raging River. It turned out to be a night I will never forget. During the prior spring, a handful of us were selected to participate in a swiftwater rescue training program. This was an annual Station Tillamook Bay training event held on the Nehalem River. It is regarded by most who participate as one of the most professionally rewarding and educational training exercises. It is a 3-day course instructed by a veteran swiftwater rescue technician from Rescue 3 International. The course consists of 1-day classroom training followed by 2 days of active river training and covers subjects such as specialized gear, rigging techniques, knots, rescue swimmer skills, and analysis of the scene to determine the best method of rescue. Most of us felt as though the training would be informational or something we would seldom get the opportunity to use during our tour. We never felt we would get the opportunity to apply these high-level advanced techniques in a real life or death situation. We were wrong. I was relieved of my duties as communication watchstander at 1945 on the 12th of November, only 1 hour prior to what would begin the most rewarding night of my life up to this point. At approximately 20:45, Tillamook 911 dispatch notified the watchstander that a culvert had collapsed along with 40 feet of road. 2 cars were washed away, 3 people in one and 4 in the other. Members of the crew began to gather outside the communications center as rumors of a pending case circulated through the station. The volunteer fire department was on scene, but with limited swiftwater training, they were quick to solicit the help of Station Tillamook Bay's swiftwater rescue team. Coast Guard Station Tillamook Bay had a record of saving 67 people from their homes and vehicles during the floods of 2006 and 2007. The officer of the day quickly readied a team that included 2 BM1s, an MK3, and me, the lone non-rate. We changed into our dry suits and gathered what swiftwater gear we had. Our officer in charge was notified at his home, and we were instructed to pick him up on our way to the scene. To our surprise, the headlights from our truck exposed our Master Chief Bosun's mate standing in the rain alongside Highway 101. We arrived on scene at approximately 21:15. The fire department briefed our team on the situation. There were 2 children, 1 adult female, and 1 elderly man trapped in knee-deep water clutching a cluster of brush and trees. Adding to the already tense situation, 2 firefighters were also trapped after crossing the swift water. They were unable to cross back across the river due to a channel that was created by the rising water. As if this was not enough, panic had begun to inundate the minds of those who had been there from the start of the process, thus creating an atmosphere filled with yelling, confusion, and disorganization. Immediately, our Master Chief took control, assigning tasks to each individual, creating a single job for that person to be responsible for. This appeared to have somewhat of a soothing effect over the people, instilling confidence that our team knew exactly what needed to be done and that we could do it. I felt the training completely guide my thoughts and actions. The area was covered by a thick blanket of trees. The water looked like chocolate milk, but unlike chocolate milk, it was layered with deadly logs, branches, and other debris racing downstream. We quickly established a plan of action, setting up 2 firefighters downstream with safety lines. A BM1 and I were selected to go across. I put on the rescue swimmer harness and was anchored by a BM1 and an MK3 and grabbed the back of the BM1 I was selected to cross with. We were clutching a safety line that was secured to a tree on each side of the swiftwater by the firefighters, as well as hanging on to 2 life vests. We began the first trip across. The force of the current on our legs seemed to increase with each additional step and with each additional inch of water, Mother Nature's way of reminding us just who really is in charge. We were careful to establish solid footing with each step. After working our way across the river, we placed the life vests on both the young girls who were 9 and 13 years old. We elected to take them first, starting with the youngest. The BM1 placed the 9-year-old in my arms, and I instructed her to hold on to me and assured her that everything would be okay. To my amazement, she told me she was not worried about herself, but rather her grandfather. BM1 then grabbed the shoulder of my life vest, and we began our way back across using the safety line as our guide. After reaching the other side, I handed the little girl off to another member of our team. Now it was time to return for the others. We repeated this process 3 more times. We placed the elderly gentleman and the woman in between us in an attempt to break the current of the rising water on the tired hypothermic legs of the victims. One by one, we returned each victim safely to the other side. After the firefighters returned safely as well, the creek had swollen to almost twice the size it was upon our arrival. We had no time to celebrate. We were immediately directed back to our truck to proceed further up the creek, where 3 more people were trapped in their vehicle. After a short trip upstream, we arrived at the second vehicle. By now, the HH-60 Jayhawk from Group Astoria was circling overhead, looking for a way to assist. The crew was unable to lower their swimmer or even see the situation unfolding below because of the thick canopy of trees. It wasn't long before we were informed by the fire department that they were able to safely retrieve the victims and that all were accounted for. This news came just in time. Less than 1 hour later, a large debris field floated downstream, tearing into both vehicles. This proved to be a very humbling experience for all who were involved. Due to the quick thinking and multiple agency cooperation, 7 lives were saved. This case illustrates the Coast Guard's ability to adapt and overcome, as well as the importance of collaboration with state and local agencies and how specialized local capabilities can have a positive impact on the outcome of a potentially tragic situation. Our mission statement is to protect and serve the public. We are viewed as lifesavers, the ones who will answer the call for help, not just on the high seas, but in all situations that require the aid of a professional rescuer. This is why it is so important to continue to maintain specialized training techniques unique to the needs of the community in which we serve. Station Tillamook Bay's Swiftwater Rescue Team carried out our mission statement. On that rainy November night, we worked with multiple agencies in waters unfamiliar to most, accomplishing the biggest goal, saving lives. The weeks following the rescue, it was really impressive to see the support that we received from the community. The newspaper that had come out, all the community support, people thanking us every time we were in the community in a store, talking about it, asking if we were involved in it and who was involved in it, as well as the kind of bond and the relationship that was formed a little bit more at the fire department. We work pretty close with those guys with a lot of things, but this really, I think, strengthened that and kind of definitely developed some friendships that weren't there before. Both the fire department and the Coast Guard were recognized at an awards banquet through the fire department just a couple of weeks ago, and so that was kind of neat to spend that time with those people and to see that. But it was definitely neat to see the support from the community, and it's really humbling to be involved in something that no matter what you do the rest of your life, you're never going to forget that, and they're never going to forget that. Even if you can't recognize that person down the street or they may not be able to recognize you, it's definitely really neat to be able to see that situation and to know that you had a positive impact on somebody's life and nothing can ever change that. So that's definitely a very rewarding experience.